Brexit. Britain exiting the European Union. A massively discussed topic regarding political and social affairs. But how does this affect scootering? The scootering industry has been on the rise within the last decade, proving itself to successfully allow individuals to express themselves through the sport. Scootering has acted as a gateway for 21st century millennial careers, providing sponsorships, socializing, and soul pleasure. Although the industry was taking a huge hit in the last couple of years, its potential to grow is still evident. The British EU referendum took place on the 23rd of June 2016, resulting in a 48.1 and 51.9% split, with Leavers narrowly taking the win.
There are times when it is right to ask the people themselves, and that is what we have done. The British people have voted to leave the European Union, and their will must be respected.
In between then and now, there has been back and forth in Parliament with extensions, renegotiations, and much, much more. The date we left the EU has now passed, with a leaving parade taking place in Parliament Square on the 31st of January.
4, 3, 2, 1.
So there it is. The UK has left the European Union. 47 years of history brought to an end in the name of sovereignty and independence.
We have now left the European Union with ongoing negotiations underway, which leaves riders in a whirlwind of uncertainty as to how this will affect the scootering community. The option for riders to explore the world and travel to popular destinations such as Paris and Barcelona will soon become harder as we potentially lose the right to freely travel. The restrictions such as visas and price inflation will possibly cut the number of riders travelling to ride in various countries. Yo, what's going on, man? Doing well. It's been a long time coming, bruv. Real talk.
Just a tad.
How are you? How are you doing?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, I mean, it's better than telling me and it being bad news. That's a good way. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Okay, dope. Okay, cool. So obviously thank you for picking up the phone and thank you for spending the time to actually have this conversation with me. First thing, what's your opinion on Brexit as a whole?
I think it's a good way of Britain progressing itself. We've been depending on the EU for way too long. Mm-hmm. If we leave the EU, which we have now, the effects might be bad at the start, but our infrastructure will be a lot better inland. Mm-hmm. There'll be a lot more farms actually making money. There'll be local businesses benefiting off of it. Mm-hmm. It's just, I think personally, it's going to benefit local businesses and produce makers.
Okay. Can I? Obviously, you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Can I? But I'm going to ask. Did you vote at all?
I did not.
Okay.
Because I just didn't want to be part of the conservative Labour. I hate you because you voted for them. It's like, if people want to speak their opinions, then they can do it without being judged. I personally, I don't want to be part of that toxic vibe. So
okay.
I'm staying away from it all in general.
Yeah, totally understandable. Okay, fair point. So, you're at the moment pro-Brexit, essentially, would you say then?
I'm a riding standpoint.
Okay, cool, perfect. All right, so in terms of Brexit and scootering, how do you think that it's going to affect the scootering market, the riders, the products, imports in and out of the UK and that kind of thing?
See, it's weird because a lot of scooter companies that are coming up and already have existed for a long time have had their products made in China and stuff like that. It's weird because I don't think the EU will actually affect the scooter industry that much for the UK in a whole. Just for the fact that most companies that you buy from, like retailers, we've got Dogs, we've got Culture, we've got Skate Hut, we've got quite a few big brands already, like retailers already in the UK.
Yeah.
Whereas Skate Pro and all the foreign, like the European retailers will struggle to get stuff from them because obviously prices are going to go up for importing.
Okay. So, for example, let's say, for example, some of our sponsors. So if you look at, we've had both AJ Scooters and Skate Pro on our books in the past. They're both based in Denmark. Them importing products into the UK for sales, you reckon that the prices would potentially go up?
I do reckon like import prices will go up in general for anyone.
Okay.
That's a theory, but
okay.
Don't take my word for
So
it.
then, in terms of, obviously, most brands do get their stuff made in China. Obviously, some brands do have their stuff made at home, like Apex make their stuff in Australia. There's a few brands
have the made in country as well.
Pardon?
Tilt do their stuff.
Yeah, Tilt are in America, Affinity are in America. We've got Entity in the UK, stuff like that. So, in terms of brands that are coming from outside of the European Union, because essentially our trade deals only really need to be with the EU right now, that's where the focus is. Do you think that they're going to renegotiate prices for the brands or what, the countries that are also outside of the EU or maybe in the EEA and stuff?
See, it's weird because I couldn't really tell you at this point because it's the deal. Obviously, we've got 7 months or so until the effects actually start beginning.
Yeah.
And anything can happen in that time.
Mm-hmm.
So generally, it's very hard to predict what's actually going to happen.
That's very true.
In an industry standpoint.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, makes sense. All right, so let's say, for example, right, there are brands that are European. So I can name a few: Analog, Eagle, Addict, Ethic, Above Scooters. There's a bundle of different brands that are in Europe. Let's not include the UK in Europe for this specific example, because obviously we're in the UK. So those brands, for example, 99% of the time, they will have their stuff imported from China directly into their own country. So Dissidents will have all the Ethic stuff brought in. Eagle will have all of their stuff into, well, obviously they make the wheels in-house, but any other parts that they make, like the forks and stuff, they'll have that stuff sent into the Netherlands. Above will have their stuff sent into, I think they're in Poland or the Czech Republic or something like that. And then from there, and it's the same with Analog as well, they have their stuff sent into the Czech Republic. And then from there, they then distribute to the other European countries and whatnot. Do you think that that's going to affect them massively because they've now got obviously normally what they would do is they would essentially have it imported from China. They'd obviously have to pay the costs, etc., the tax, all that kind of stuff. Then obviously before, because we had obviously free trade between the countries and free travel and that kind of stuff, there was fixed prices. Now obviously there's a potential chance that it might fluctuate. Do you think that those brands, specifically the European ones that are outside of the UK, are going to suffer a lot more trying to get their products into the UK, any more than, for example, the American brands or the Australian brands are already trying to get their stuff into the UK?
See, I don't think it will suffer. I don't think they'll suffer as much as the American or Australian brands. Obviously, the American brands are a lot more expensive to get over. Like you can see, like their parts are quite expensive, and it's. I don't know how much it costs for people to get them in to distributors, but I reckon the European brands will probably have an okay-ish time doing it. I can't really see them having that much of an issue.
Okay, cool. The next thing is then, because obviously, let's say for example, the prices do go up. So Eagle now have to pay, instead of, I don't know, £4 per 10 kg or something like that, they now have to pay £8 per 10 kg. That then now doubles the amount of money they've got paid to get their products into the country, which means it cuts their profit. Obviously, they've got distributor in the UK. They obviously send their stuff directly to the distributor from either their factory in Holland or from China, depending on what the products are, and then the distributor deals with the rest for them. However, for them to get them products now into the UK, it's obviously now £8 per 10 kg or whatever. Do you think that means that there's potentially going to be now a fluctuation in the price of the products because of the fact that they've now got to pay more to be able to get their stuff into the country?
That is probably what's going to happen.
Oh dear.
Just for the fact that as prices get up, trying to get them in the first place to the country, they've got to kind of compensate to make profit.
Exactly.
So that could definitely be a possibility.
Okay, so can you see European brands having to now raise their prices to be able to, do you think that they'll raise their prices only in the UK, or do you think they'll raise their prices globally to try and even it out? Or
see, obviously it's weird, like it's not really going to change with other countries that are outside of Britain.
Yeah,
because it's basically just the UK that's changing.
Yeah.
The other countries won't be affected, but it would mainly just be us.
Okay. So essentially, the other countries are going to obviously stay the same the way they have been. But because obviously we've got to do a deal with the EU, we can then essentially govern the prices that we're going to charge people, essentially. And obviously the EU can then govern the prices that they're going to charge us to send our stuff out as well. Yeah. So do you think that it's just going to be essentially some sort of fair deal where the prices will roughly stay the same, or the prices will go up both sides, or the prices will go down both sides? Or do you think the UK is just going to be like, nah, sod it, we want the £8 per 10 kg?
It's a hard one to think about that.
Sorry to rattle your brain.
It's very odd. It's a weird situation for the company to be, all the companies and the industry as a whole to be in now. Because most of the companies were getting out from the EU, weren't they? So
yes, that's true.
I reckon it's just going to be a whole bit of cat and mouse, seeing who wants what.
Okay, that's true.
Figuring it out.
Okay, and for you, and for you as a rider, then, just to get your perspective and potentially like a rider's perspective, obviously now this means that you obviously buy your products from whichever shop. I'm guessing most of the time a UK shop.
I usually go Culture.
Okay, cool. So if you're buying your stuff from, let's say, for example, Culture, and normally you buy, let's say, for example, you've bought a flavour deck, and normally it's £155, but now because of Brexit, it's gone up to £185. Is that going to affect you now buying that flavour product when you can, for example, get, let's say, a Supremacy deck or an Elite deck for like 100 because it's a UK brand and they can now sell it cheaper in the UK, or a Drone deck, for example, or Blazer Pro or something like that? So do you think that's going to affect your decision on what parts you now get because of the prices, essentially? So like obviously we know that, for example, Apex parts and TSI parts are extremely highly priced. Obviously they're extremely highly manufactured products as well, but they make them at home, and that's why they're at those prices. But people then pay those prices for the premium quality. But let's say, for example, they've always been those prices. We know that Apex and TSI have always been that expensive. But let's say now Flavour, all of a sudden their prices have fluctuated another 40, 50 quid. Is that going to affect people's minds? Because, oh, well, I've paid this price for Flavour prices all the time. Now why do I have to pay an extra certain amount? You're not Apex. Is the kind of, do you think that riders will have that kind of mentality, or do you think they'll continue to support the brands and just save the money and pay that price? Or do you think they'll just, okay, I'm just going to stick to a UK brand. I'm going to buy an Entity bar now. I'm going to buy a Blazer Pro deck or something like that because they're in the UK. It's a lot cheaper for me to get that. I'm going to buy a Century bar, something like that. What do you think is going to happen?
Honestly, if people are dedicated to a certain brand, they'll buy it no matter what.
Yeah.
For me, I'm a huge flavour fanboy, so
Yeah.
I'll probably still keep buying their decks.
Okay.
But from the look of it, I mean, the Spartan deck that Supremacy's got, like, I've tried it out on Turk's prototype.
Yeah.
It feels gorgeous, so that might be the next one for me. So
Okay.
it's all about preference, really.
Okay. So you don't think it's anything to do with the price of the product? You literally just think it's, if that's what they want, they're going to get it no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, if someone's got a love for that brand, they'll go for it.
Okay, perfect. That's pretty much exactly what I wanted to ask. So, thank you for that. That's pretty much the end of the interview then. Have you got anything you want to say? Anyone you want to shout out or?
Well, generally, I just want to give a shout out to all the new companies that are coming in here during the big changes. Like, welcome to the world of scoots.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
good luck.
Wow. Okay. And if people want to find out about you more and about the things that you're doing on social media at the moment, where can they find you?
Well, mainly on Instagram. That's my main platform for anything on social media, really. It's _Brandon Joseph _. I'll be posting a lot of promotional posters for people that I work closely with. I do write clips occasionally, and if you need any questions or anything like that, I'm down to talk about it. So,
Amazing. Thank you so much, Brandon.
Thank you.
And I will obviously stop the recording now. And then we'll probably just continue our conversation after that briefly. But thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure speaking to you about this and getting your opinion and kind of a rider's perspective on how they think that the scooter market's going to cope with Brexit and what the riders' opinions are going to be on certain brands and stuff. But it's been absolutely dope, man. So thank you for that.
And you, man.
No worries, man. All right, I'll speak to you soon.
In a bit.
All right. Brexit will undoubtedly also affect brands and shops, with the pound currently fluctuating day to day. Prices of scooter parts could soar, seeing businesses negatively impacted as many riders won't be able to afford highly priced product. The new generation, who are mostly young people with little money, already suffer from increased product prices, making the accessibility to obtain goods even harder than it already is. Could this negatively impact scootering to a detrimental point? As Britain will have to renegotiate trade deals, prices for shipping and imports could change. This would also adversely affect both shops and brands when obtaining or sending parts. Due to prices and cutbacks in businesses, this could also mean less sponsorship and jobs for riders and less products being given to the riders for their work. This could result in riders having to do more just to get products from their sponsors or less benefits for the rider. This may sound unfair, but this could be the approach that the brands and shop owners have to take to keep their businesses afloat. Can you blame them? However, there are pros to the new Brexit life. UK stores and brands will now be able to sell into Europe at even more competitive prices. The same goes for European brands and shops selling into the UK. Products and brands will start to become more competitive due to the restrictions and limits distributors may face. Some brands may start to see positive impact in their businesses with more demands from other countries for their products. In turn, this means they can ultimately charge more for the goods that will now be harder for countries to obtain. Sadly, this will also mean that it could be substantially harder for UK riders to obtain products from other countries. This could see a decline in international brands in the UK, or a surge in prices from non-UK brands. Essentially though, it can be great for UK businesses in the UK market and provide more of an opportunity for the riders to support UK brands and shops. These changes will influence the scootering market a lot more than what it is at face value. But how will the scootering industry cope? And what can the community do to best prepare itself for such events?